Milwaukee.
But do you think that there could be any persons around that are exceptions? Like
What we call exceptions are the alternate species. It's like the world is divided into two species, right? There are people who are just cool to do whatever, maybe slightly overly sensitive maybe in some ways, and then people who are just overly insensitive, right? It's just two species which roam the earth. But that doesn't, by being polar opposites of each other, they're both opposing sides of the same force. So ultimately, there's the same base human prototype personality, or whatever you want to call it, that controls everything. That there is no level of difference, an exception outside of that.
So at some level, everyone is tainted.
No, you're not understand what I'm saying. Everyone is the same. Yeah. It doesn't matter where you go in the world, everybody's the same. So this whole, criminal thing that Hollywood is doing of trying to manipulate people into thinking like there is, certain personalities are indigenous to certain parts of the world. They only succeed in dividing people. Meanwhile, the actual people who live actual lives are all clones of each other.
Deeply distressing.
And this whole YouTube thing that just happened, that really stressed me out. The way I typed in 2 letters and then it wouldn't let me delete. It wouldn't let me exit out of the page because I typed 2 letters, which I deleted. And I'm going to try it again. I want to see if it does it again, because that sort of thing, it feeds into paranoia. Okay, so look, I typed in 2 letters, and I'm going to delete, and then I'm going to exit out and see what happens. See? Are you sure you want to close this window? You have entered text on YouTube. If you close the window, your changes will be lost. Do you want to close the window anyway? Cancel. Close.
So, but what they mean is they want to be able to. They don't want to have you make a mistake. They're double checking with you. They're saying.
But you understand how ridiculous that is? For as sophisticated as computers are supposed to be, they can't figure out that all I did was type in 2 letters, which I deleted, and now I'm going to exit out of the page.
But they're wanting confirmation.
What is there to confirm? It's not people confirming anything. It's a stupid, unsophisticated computer.
Like when I type, I make errors, and sometimes when I want to send a message, I check to see
do you know what this is? This is a search bar, which means you type whatever you want to search for, and then I type in 2 letters and I delete and I exit out. There's nothing to be saved or lost if it's just 2 letters that I delete.
But it could be a whole sentence. They don't know that. How could they know that? They can't know.
That's what I'm saying. Okay. First of all, it doesn't make a difference if it's 2 letters or a whole sentence. Okay? It's ridiculous for that message to pop up. And second of all right, if a computer can't figure out basic stuff, then it's by definition not sophisticated.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's not sophisticated. It's just double checking. Are you sure you want to do this? That's all they're doing.
I can't believe you're standing up for this.
No, but I mean that's how it works for me. That's how it works.
This is exactly the kind of mentality that I'm talking about. That enables a world that's total bullshit.
It adds another step. Yeah, it may be a crazy step, but it's a step.
I never noticed that it ever did that before, ever. This is the first time I ever noticed that. So either that just happened as we were talking, or it's always been the case. But it just feeds into paranoia. That's all that it does.
I mean, I don't experience it that way. It's a way of double checking one's mistakes.
There are no mistakes. How is this a mistake? M-A.
You're making a change.
Deletes.
You're making
Deletes.
a change.
Okay? Exit out. How is that a mistake?
Because, you know, all I'm telling you that when I X out a message or even like
But it's not a message. It's not a message. It's not a message.
But it's a Windows function. So for instance, anytime
It's not a Windows function. YouTube is not a Windows function.
but maybe they're introducing a new type of Windows function. It's the same type of corrective thing.
I don't understand what you're talking about. Yeah, if you're clearly, I think you're pretending to know what YouTube is or something. I don't know.
I'm talking about just the mechanism of the computer asking you, do you want to do this or not?
On Windows, yes, I agree. That makes sense. It does not make sense for it to do that on YouTube.
Yeah, well, I don't know the thing about YouTube, so I don't have any way of, I can see why you don't like that crazy step. I don't know when they introduced it, if it's a new thing or.
I just discovered it literally as we were talking, so.
I'm going to test it with my own computer to see what it does there.
I'm
going to find out.
Our changes, I don't know what you're talking about right now. Our changes being lost, what does that have to do with YouTube? Changes being lost is something that only applies to Microsoft Word.
Yeah, but, maybe.
I mean, but no, and what I'm saying is if all I do is if I'm on the main page and type in a few letters and then delete them, that doesn't count as changes being lost or saved because it's just the main page where I typed in a few letters on a search engine thing. It has nothing to do with me being on my actual channel and making changes to it.
But are they thinking that you're ready to submit? Is it a step that they put in to double check?
There's a difference between the YouTube main page and your own personal YouTube channel. There's two different things.
Yeah. Well, maybe they're trying to, improve something, and it's trying to sophisticate it to make it more complicated. They're obviously complex. They've made it more complex, and in your discovery now, it's annoying. It's an interruption to your decision. You're ready to make a decision, and they're interrupting that. And so they've created an annoyance in the system.
Well, that actually feeds into paranoia because now I have to get paranoid about, maybe